Hey all, welcome to this week's Top 10 collection here at the CIOPCC, the Crawford Institute of Pop Culture Collectibles. This week I'm going to look at the Top 10 112 Marvel. This is the 112 Collective from Mezco. For those of you who know, I am really into the 112 Collective. It's a line that I am not quite a completist on, but I certainly do have quite a few of them. I do believe I am complete on all the Marvel. And this is not going to be in order, okay? This is going to be sort of around the shelf, so it's a little easier to shoot the video. So don't be taking this as this is the order, although it could be. You never know. So number one, or not number one, however you want to look at it, is Blade. Now, they did 3 different versions, as you can see, of Blade, but I really like the first version here. This was the Toy Fair exclusive. I love the costume. I know it's not any kind of iconic Blade costume. It's sort of their own design, but I really liked it. I thought it was a great looking figure. Of course, the head sculpts were the same head sculpts throughout. For the most part, they swapped a few different ones in, but it was really the costume on this one. I just love the color combination. I think it looks terrific. And with the half sleeves, it's really great. Likewise, they made a ton of Punishers. All of them are great. You can't get a bad Punisher from the Mezco line, but it's the one right here in the very center, white skull on the vest, not printed on the clothing. This was the very first release they did that was a regular release. The one to his left there that's the same but all in black, that was the Toy Fair version. But I really like the white, and I prefer it on the vest like that to some of the later versions, as you can see, like in back, where the skull is actually printed on the costume. But like I said, you can't go wrong if you're picking up a Punisher. Another one that had 3 versions, and now there's a 4th one coming, is the Iron Man. And this is a really underrated figure. You know, people treated it more like, oh, it's just an action figure because it doesn't have a cloth costume. But the detail and the quality of the design around the articulation, it's really impressive. Great figure. Don't miss out on them just because you think, oh, it's not really like the rest of the 112 figures. One who does have the good old cloth costume is Red Skull. And while the first one had the more classic comic look, I really like the long black coat. It fits fantastic. It's a really nice example of how good the tailoring can be on the 112 figures from Mezco. Head sculpt's great. Some nice accessories. Nice figure. Speaking of accessories, I really liked the original cable. Now you'll see in front there next to Red Skull, that was the exclusive cable. Not as fond of the X-Men costume, but I really did like this cable and the armor. He came with a ton of extra accessories, all kinds of weapons. So he makes it on the list because of that. The most recent one that's going to end up on this list is Bishop. I really didn't have any expectations of Bishop going in. Thought he was cool, looked good in the photos. I buy them all. What the heck? But once I got him and put him together, I was really happy with the way he came out. Another more recent one, you know, they've done 1,000,000 Wolverines. I'll show you a few more of them here in a minute. So I had to pick at least one of the Wolverines, for God's sakes. And of all the Wolverines they did, I'm really liking this classic comic book look. That was their most recent Wolverine release, the Tiger Stripes. Came with that cool base as well. I don't use too many of the bases, but that one was just too sweet to skip. Speaking of Wolverines, like I said, over here in the corner you can see they've done 1,000,000 Wolverines. So I had to have one of them in the mix. Likewise, they've done 1,000,000 Spider-Men. So I had to have one of those in the mix. You'll never guess which one. I really like the homemade suit from Homecoming. The reason I like this is the suit is the material I used is like a soft, fuzzy material. It really looks great in hand. Really matches the look on screen in such a small scale. I'm looking forward to the Deadpool movie, and they've done several Deadpools. It's their regular release. It's my favorite. Again, they got in the other costumes. but his classic standard costume that we have come to know and love in the red and black is the one that I think they did the best with. You know, that's 9 already, so that just leaves one more. Who's it going to be? Doctor Strange. And of the 3 Doctor Strange, my favorite is that first one there with the gold sash and the red cape. It's a great looking figure. Came with a ton of cool accessories. The portraits were excellent. All 3 are very comic book, well, close to comic book looks. But it's that first one that really reminds me of Doctor Strange most closely. So there you have my top 10. That was Doctor Strange, Deadpool, one of the Spider-Man, the Homecoming Spider-Man, the recent Wolverine, Bishop, Cable with his armor, Red Skull in the long black leather coat, Iron Man, and one of the Punishers and one of the Blades. Let me know what your top 10 are. There's plenty to choose from. And I'll be doing another top 10 covering the DC figures in this line at some point, as well as the Rumble Society stuff. Till next week, happy collecting.